Okay, welcome folks to the next part of these tutorials. I'm going to just go back a couple of steps and go into actually sort of creating a character, but it's doing it in a very kind of unorthodox way. It's a lot kind of quicker, and that's by basically getting a bunch of geometric shapes, spheres, squares, you name it, and actually assembling them into the approximate shape of the character, combining those shapes, and then exporting it into Sculpt GL and remeshing it. It's a kind of quick and sort of dirty way of sort of creating characters, as opposed to working on, say, so you can see this character got here on this image plane. Doing like getting the main body done and then creating a separate arm and then using Target Weld to kind of, well, basically combine, and then Target Weld to join it all up and make sure it's all kind of nice and neat. I think for things like when you're doing or especially if you're doing like facial animations, it's probably not the best approach. But for what we're doing, just creating like a little animated character that can kind of run around and do things, it's a very, very quick way. But like I say, unorthodox, quick and dirty, and certainly, if you all wanted to kind of get further into this and becoming like sort of a 3D animator, you were looking to maybe take the long approach, which is better. But anyway, without further ado, we've got a character. I've got it as a front view and a side view. So if I just zoom out a little bit, press the space bar, you see there I've got the front view, which is there. I've got the grid turned off at the moment just because it's annoying, so that'll be our front view there, and then we've got the side view, which is here. I might just turn off that grid as well, so that'll be coming in around about there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the front view. I'm going to start dropping in some shapes. So I'm going to start by dropping in a cube. So again, very unorthodox. And I'm going to concentrate mainly on the right hand side. I get the main body done, excuse me, and then I'm going to halve it and then mirror it, just so I don't have to kind of work on both sides. So excuse me, we've got that done there. I might just pop out of that a second. I'm going to look to maybe extrude the faces. Control E. You can actually also, if you go into the side onto the toolkit here, you've got extrude there, but yeah, generally Control E, and you can just pull this down. So you can see there we've got like a little subdivision, but you can do that if you want to, so it'll make more sense if we just go to the front view. So if I then, let's move that to one side, pull that down to say there, I can then use, to do that set, use that to basically taper it in. Now if you want to kind of give this a bit more shape, you can do. Just go right click and just go into object mode. I'm going to use the multi-cut tool there, hold down Control, and I can sort of drop another subdivision in there. Yeah. And then if I go into, say, edge mode, I can double click that and expand that out that way. Yeah. So these are just very kind of quick methods for blocking out your character. Now if you want to, you can continue doing this all the way down, or you can just sort of do it in a rather kind of crude fashion, which is I'm going to drop a sphere in there, bring that up, get that into the approximate shape, and do it that way. I can use things like the vertex, soft selection, I could even just, or maybe, just take the size. See the size of that brush. And to take that down to a reasonable size. Right, let's try that again. No, let's try that again. That's better. Okay, I'm not worried about connecting the sides up. I'm not going to worry about that side either. I want to try and leave that alone. I don't want to distort that too much because that's what I'm going to use to bring the character, cut the character in half. Okay, so we've got that there. I might use a cylinder for this next one. Scale that down. Okay, so put it somewhere around about there, and I'll leave that. So that looks right at the top. I'm going to taper it at the bottom. So I'm going to go to Edge. I'll take it off soft selection. Double click that, and I'm going to scale that down like so. I can bend this around. I might insert some edge loops. Now I'm going to hold down Control. I'll put one, say there, one there, say one there, and then one there. Click off that, double click that line, and then I can just start to kind of give that some shape. Expand that just a little bit. Again, you can sort of take this at your own pace. You know, you don't have to it's not something you have to do quickly. Take your time with it. I'm just trying to get this done quickly, just so it doesn't take up too much time. So just so I can kind of give you the basics, and then you can take as much time as you like. Okay, that's roughly going like that. Now, this all might look very well from the front. Let's have a look from the side, because usually you don't really get an accurate picture. So you can see there the main body. Whoa, the main body. Go to object mode. Is, if I just move these other two pieces out of the way, you can see there it's not the full ticket. Excuse me. So first of all, I'm going to go into X-ray mode, and I might want to perhaps even just drop some edge loops in there, because I'm going to need to kind of give this some shape. You can see there the profile of the back, and maybe one or two at the side there. Now I'm going to go into vertex mode and probably use soft selection. So again, just make sure the brush isn't too big, too small, and then I can sort of pull it out to the size that I want. Like that. Just make sure you're selecting all the vertices there, because you may find out you're just selecting one, which isn't, you don't want that. Okay. And ditto with this main part of the body. That kind of looks alright. I perhaps just want to rotate that. I'm just thinking about the angle of the leg, so I'll leave that there. I'm going to grab that top part of the leg, I'm going to put it there, I think. You can have a look in perspective view as well. So again, you don't want to end up with sort of false readings. Now, it may not look very pretty. It is going to work. It just doesn't look very pretty at the moment, that's all. Okay. I'm going to use another cylinder. Scale that down. Okay, and I'm going to do what I've been doing before with the top leg, which is I'm going to drop in some edge loops. It's up to you how many you drop in, but just think about the shape. I'm going to go to edge, take off soft selection. Yeah, so just think about the shape that you want to get, what you want to achieve. I'll leave that. I'm not going to get too pedantic about this. I just want to get like a very general shape. All the rest of it excuse me, all the rest of it you can sort out when you're kind of sculpting. You can build it up that way, so don't worry too much about the details. Don't get lost in the weeds, as they say. So look from the side. Whoops. Okay, I need to probably step this back a bit. Again, I can build on that. I'm just thinking I want to connect it up with that leg. I could certainly kind of build on that. So I can perspective mode. Might just pop a sphere in there. You ever want to center anything, press F. Yeah, if you want to kind of get, start working on details, press F when you've got the object selected. Okay. And then there's the question of the foot. I'll come back to the arm in a minute. It's going to sort of take care of the leg, and then we'll come to the head. So I'll drop a cube in there. Let's look at the side view. Again, I might just insert some edge loops in there, just so I can give it a bit more shape. Okay, then go to vertex, soft selection, then we can just start to kind of give like the toes some shape. Okay. I might just scale these down, so I'm going to go to face, take it off soft selection, I'm going to select those faces, and then I'm going to scale these down. I might just drop another edge loop in there. Select the vertexes. Look at the side view. So you can see from the side view that needs bringing out. Again, follow don't be too dogmatic. Follow your own intuition with this stuff. If something doesn't kind of look right, then just, trust your own judgment. The drawings are just a guide at the end of the day. They're not the be-all and end-all of what you're modelling. Let's drop another edge loop in there, or two. Right, we've got that on the side view. I can see on the side view there that's gone a bit haywire. Just going to bring that in. Same thing with the front. Look at perspective view. Alright. Again, it's not looking very pretty, but it's it'll do. Might just drop a sphere in there. Just to round that off. Alright, arms. Let's do the arms. And then we'll come on to the arm. So I'm going to put a shoulder in there. Again, I might just drop some edge loops just so I can give it a bit of shape. Okay, let's look at the side view. Just shift the entire thing over. Might just drop an edge loop down a couple of places as well. Okay, go back to the vertex mode. So what we're doing really is just pulling this thing into shape. So it's the approximate shape of the drawing underneath. That's you know, using a combination of scaling the edges, moving the vertexes, and pulling them into shape, and then basically intersecting them with the rest of the model. Okay, let's have a look in the perspective view. Again, doesn't look pretty, I know that. It's absolutely fine, but it'll look a lot better when we've got it all remeshed. Alright, let's go to the next part. I think for this I'm going to drop a sphere in. Scale that down. That's kind of looking alright there. Alright, I'm going to drop a cylinder in there. Drop some edge loops in there, not too many, just so I can kind of give it some shape. And again, I'm just going to pull some of these out just to get that shape of the arm. The reason you're using soft selection is it makes the other vertexes sympathetic to what you're doing. So there's a bit of the brush. If you look at the brush size here, it makes it so all this where it's in red, you can see there it's red and yellow. They act accordingly. Yeah. So if you got it say that size, and I'm moving this around, they will be in obeisance to the to what you're doing. So it's just a better way of doing it. You end up with that less. You get into less of a muddle, let's put it that way. Alright. Again, let's have a look at the side there. So I'm going to go to object mode, and we need to perhaps rotate that a bit like so. And again, we're just using a judgment here. We're not going to follow the drawing completely. It's just an approximation, alright? So move that out to there. Let's have a look at that. So look at the perspective view. Okay, that's looking all right. Okie dokie. Right, and then there's the hands. Now, let's go into the. Let's go to the side view. Right, I'm going to put a square in for this. Scale that down. And again, I'm going to drop some edge loops in there. Go to vertex. And we're going to pull this around. Okay, and I know these fingers are going to be curving around. I'm going to ignore that because I want these fingers to be animated. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm just going to get the hand. You can see there, see it's way off. Even though from the side view it all looks all right, it's not. So I need to kind of get that at least into the approximate area. And I think what I might do is I might just drop another edge loop in there or two. Go to the vertexes. Right, and really just give the hand some shape. Okay, so look at the perspective view. It's always good to look at the perspective view as well when you're doing stuff like this. So you might just want to taper in that top part of the hand there. Don't worry about any of this. We'll sort that out. It'll be fine. Okay, and then we need some form of thumb. I'm going to try and just keep this as basic as I can. So I'm going to use something like a cylinder. I'm going to put 3 of the fingers in and do the thumb. The rest of it I can kind of take care of when we're sculpting it. So I'm going to go for a cylinder. I'm going to drop a cylinder in there. Go into the side view. Scale this down. Okay. front view. Scale that finger up a little bit. Alright, I might just take it off X-ray mode because I just need a bit more clarity with the model. Okay. Oops. It's gone to object mode. Okay. So let's get this positioned. So again, I'm going to ignore that. The drawing's only meant to be a guide anyway. Okay. So something like, say, that. Shift D. I'm going to duplicate that. Okay, that's roughly there. And then Shift D again. This time I'm just going to scale this down a little bit. This is going to be like the little finger. Now I might just shift these over a little bit. Again, you might want to take a bit more time doing this, but just for the purposes of this tutorial. Now you could put some spheres at the end to kind of round it off. I can take care of that. We can take care of that when you're in the in Sculpt GL. But that's kind of looking alright. And then I'm going to use Shift and D again. This is going to be for the thumb. So I'm going to rotate this. Now you can give it some shape if you want. It's entirely up to you. I'm tempted just to leave mine though where it is. You know, you could do things like you could insert some edge loops, you know, like so, and just kind of try and give it a bit more shape. If you want to do that, you can. As I mentioned, I'm kind of tempted just to leave it. Again, it doesn't look, you know, it looks all right, but it's going to look better. Okay, and then lastly, there's the head. So remember, we're not doing the full body. It's going to be looking at the head. And again, I'm going to put some very basic shapes in for this. So, for example, that sort of triangular shape. I might even use that. Put a polygon in there. It's entirely up to you. It's your call. Remember, we're doing this quick and dirty. Drop an edge loop in there. If I can. Will it let me? Or maybe it won't. Let's go into vertex. I tell you what, no. Change of plan. Change of plan. I'm going to drop a cylinder in there. I just want to be able to kind of give that neck a little bit of shape. Starting with the edge. Okay. Try that again. I'm going to have to try and select this. Right, let's try that again. I've got to go into edge mode. Right, let's try that again. Okay, and I'm going to drop some edge loops. Drop some more edge loops in there, I think. One there, one there. One there. Use soft selection there and just try and give that some shape. So look and see what it looks like from the side. So I can see now that it needs go to object mode. Needs a bit of work. Okay, I'll probably need to go into X-ray mode again. Right. So it is all a little bit fiddly. It's not without its difficulties doing it this way, but it cuts down your production time. If you wanted to really just kind of get like a basic model done to animate, it's the kind of thing where you can kind of you could technically get it all done in a day with relative ease. For a kind of more long-term project, you might want to spend a little bit more time on working on the details of your model. Okay. Let's drop an edge loop in there. Again, it's not going to look very pretty. But if it gets the job done, it gets the job done, right? It gets the job done. Alright, so we've got a foot, we've got an arm, got a leg, got a body, got the beginnings of a head, and we've got these ears. Now what could I use for the ears? Let's try a cylinder. Sometimes these things work, sometimes they don't. You don't know until you try them out. Take it off soft selection. Just going to scale that down. Okay, just going to go back to object mode. Alright, I'm going to drop some edge loops in there. Again, this is just to give it shape. You don't have to stick loads in, just enough to kind of give it shape, that's all. Don't worry about this bit here, that's fine. Okay, let's have a look at the side view. So as I thought, it's completely off. So look in the perspective view. Okay, that's looking alright. Might want to squash that down a little bit though. Let's have a look. Just flatten it a little bit. Okay. Right, that's about as far as I'm going to go with that. I'm not going to worry about all the rest of this gear, by the way. You know, any kind of just real. I'm going to try and just keep it as basic as I can. Okay, and with all that in mind, I'm going to do this next. So once I'm kind of happy and I've got all the shapes in there, I'm going to go into face mode. I'm going to start the process of eliminating some of the geometry. Okay, I'm going to press backspace. So that's that part. Just take it off. There we go. So put it onto, like, say there. Now I'm going to have to put like an edge loop in there, just so it doesn't delete the entire thing. Going to face. Delete that. What we've got next? We've got the sphere that we did. Again, I'm just going to delete that face there. The leg we're going to leave. So that's pretty good. Next is going to combine all of them. So I'm going to use the marquee tool just to select all of them if I can, if it'll let me. Let's go into object mode. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay. So I'm not going to merge, I'm just going to go combine. Mesh, and combine. Right, so they're not, it's just a conglomeration. This isn't join, this is basically just grouping them together. That's all it's doing. Okay, you can see there, look, they've got all that messy geometry inside there. Okay, and then next I'm going to go to mesh again and mirror. Okay, now if you're not seeing what I'm seeing here, you need to put the axis on X, direction needs to be in minus, and that's pretty much it. And you can play around with the offset as well like that. Yeah, so if you're depending on how much you want to, you know, you might want to have a play around with, you know, with the scale and all that. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the front view and I'm going to go to the X-ray view, move that out of the way so you can see there what you're playing with. So you can see that that's all pretty much fallen in line. Okay, so it all looks good really about there. And then when you're happy with it, you just click off, click on again, boom, it's done. Let's go into the perspective mode. So there we have our character. Let's move that out of the way. So there we have our character. Looks a bit clunky, but we're ready for the next stage now, which is to export this as an OBJ and then put it into Sculpt GL. So, as you have a Sculpt GL, which we've all used before, I'm going to go to Add Object. So I saved that object on the desktop, and I called him Goblin Warrior. So Goblin Warrior is there. I'm going to go to Open. Okay, it's quite small. So I'm going to use Transform, delete that sphere. I'm going to scale this guy up. So right about there. Okay, that's all looking good. And next I'm going to go to Topology. I'm going to do it as a manifold tries. Now for some reason manifold tries works better with Mudbox. Okay, put it to the max for 400 and go remesh. Just give it a while. Hopefully it won't crash. There. Okay, so if I press W, you'll see now that it's completely joined it up. Yeah, it's all one mesh now, which is cool. Very cool. Now, by right, show the mirror line. There we go. Thank you very much. So also we've got a mirror line, which means that when we start sculpting on this, whatever we do on one side will show up on the other. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start the process of really just tidying this up, smoothing it out, getting rid of some of these edges, and putting a bit of detail, and then getting it ready to put into Mudbox. So away we go. So we're probably going to start by sort of flattening character. I'll take the intensity down a little bit, don't do it too much. Now, I do believe I've got Maya open, so I'm just going to close. Yeah, it might just be slowing the computer up a little bit. Okay. If you want to continue like working on, working from reference, you can do that if you want, from the drawing, by all means. What I'm doing here is I've just flattened it a little bit, and then what I'm also going to do is using Shift, I'm going to just smooth this out. Yeah. So a combination of kind of flattening, like so, and then sort of smoothing. Yeah. Just so you don't get any kind of horrible jagged edges to it. So that's all I'm doing here, holding down Shift, and a combination of that and also using the flatten tool. You don't need to worry about the other side, because we've got mirror turned on. It means that it will be doing the other side for us too, which is very, very cool. I suggest you do this before you even put any detail, before you start sculpting any of the details in there. I would definitely suggest that you at least just kind of clean it up a little bit, get it looking kind of smooth, no kind of weird kind of edges to it. And we can build things back up again. It's not like, we're not going to build any of this back up, but I think it's just try and keep it just as simple as you can, just for the meantime. If you hold down X and just move the mouse back and forth, you can actually adjust the diameter of your brush. Now, word of warning, like all programs, right, and Sculpt GL is no different, it can crash. So let's say even you're using something like ZBrush, it can crash. So just be advised. So I would suggest, just my opinion, is just save what you're doing. Save. Yeah. Just go save file. It'll drop it in the top there, and just forget about it. Just so I know from experience the amount of times either myself or students have been working on programs that you can end up with situations where you put like a ton of work into it and then it just goes, and you can't get it back, and that's it, and you've got to start back from scratch again. It's very upsetting, it's very demoralizing, so I would highly recommend that that you save as you go. So all I'm doing here is just sort of holding down Shift and just smoothing out any little bits I kind of think are not looking very good. Okay, you can work into this, like all the back muscles, we can do that in a bit. Don't worry about that for the time being. Same thing with this thing with the chest. We can come back to that in a minute. So remember I was saying when we were working in Maya about all these little bits that, you know, I was saying don't worry about them, don't worry about any kind of horrible little bits of geometry. Well, you don't, because, you know, you hold down shift, boom, it's gone. Yeah, so it's very cool. Okay, I'm just holding down shift on these. Just looking at, there's a weird bit of something going on there. I'm not sure what. Bit of a hole in the geometry. Might come back to that in a minute. Let's have a look. What's going on there? It's just a bit of weirdness. Just smooth that sucker out if I can. I may even retopologize again. We'll see. Let's build that back up again. Yeah, it's all right, but I think what I might do is a belts and braces, as it were, is, yeah, I can see there's a little bit of an issue going on there. Something funny. I think what I might do is what we've got going on there is it's like a rogue vertex or something. Try and iron that out. Okay, I didn't see this one coming, but there you go. You see my problems in real time, which is good because whatever I'm learning along the way, you can learn too. The question is this going to go away? Looks like it might have done actually. Okay. Kind of looks like it's sorted it. That was a bit weird. Okay. Alright, there we are. So what I'm doing here is, yeah, so I'm just going to continue now. just to smooth these fingers over like so. Again, I can put more detail in there. I'm not going to, worry about it too much. I just want to kind of get it smoothed over and into some kind of shape. Alright, what's going on here? Okay, so now we've got another problem. Let's have a look. It appears only to be on this side, not on the other side. Okay. Okay. Okay, very strange kind of. It looks like. I'm not sure what it looks like. Definitely like an issue. Let's see if I can correct that by remeshing. So look. Oh, no, now I've completely lost it. Alright, let's try and just dip that down a bit then. Let's try and remesh that. Okay, that's not going to work either. Let's try that again then. Let's try and remesh again. Okay, let's see if that's cured it. That looks alright. Okay, you're going to get some general weirdness every now and then with any program. Doesn't really matter. It's never going to be plain sailing with any programs. There's always like weird bugs, things that it doesn't do, it won't do. It's just par for the course. Okay. Just smooth these down. Okay, and again you can flatten it, do what you want. And once you've kind of got it like generally kind of smoothed off, you can be ready to start sculpting into it, right? Okay, so apologies if you can hear the dogs barking. There's a bit of hoovering going on and they don't like the hoover. Okay, so let's start doing some sculpting. Probably best to start with the face. Now I'm going to go with the brush here. Might just try subdividing. Okay. and start. Giving our character a bit of personality. I think face is probably a good place to start off, because the personality of the character really does matter, and it can end up sort of dictating a lot of, you know, where you take it, and you know, because whenever you're sort of designing characters, you do go on a little bit of a sort of journey. Okay, smooth some of that off. Again, I'm just going to, just as a failsafe, I'm going to go save, and just save it. Okay, just as a failsafe, because you never know where it's going to go. Now I usually use a program called Sculpt GL, Sculptress, which is made by Pixelogic, who make ZBrush, and it's usually pretty good. You know, you can actually put, you know, design characters in there and actually have them, you know, eventually put them into a sort of game engine. So it's not like, even though it's free, don't be fooled. You can do a lot with it. But this is just as good. It's totally free. It's online. Okay, now again, it's like you could put as much detail into this as is humanly possible. For the purpose of this tutorial, I don't want to put too much in terms of, you know, time, because it's just going to zap the time, right? And I just want to kind of get through, just so you can kind of get to the basics of it, of what you're doing. Oops, I've gone into paint for some reason. And then it gives you time to kind of work on your own model. Okay, so I mean that's about as much as I'm going to do for the face. Okay, the chest. Do something like that, and again I'm just going to smooth some of this off. I'll just take the size of the radius down a little bit, more. It's often good to kind of look at reference material for muscles. It's not like massively vital, but you might want to, yeah, just kind of have a look at how other people kind of do things. Never try and kind of work solely from your imagination, particularly if you kind of like, if you're just sort of starting off doing this stuff. Be looking at reference material, yeah, anatomy. Look at sort of muscle groupings, things like that. I'm just very, very mindful of the time that we have and not spending too much time on the little things. So that's why I'm just really trying to be as conservative as I can, just so when it comes to you doing what you need to do, you can get on and do it a lot quicker. Okay, let's do some neck muscles there. Okay, it's looking pretty cool. Now I'm just going to work my way down, and forgive me if I keep repeating myself, but don't you know, take your own time on this. You know, I'm kind of whizzing through a little bit on this. You don't have to do that. You can spend a lot more time, take a bit more care with, you know, just doing things like working on some of the face and you name it. You know, just take your time. There's no rush. Have fun. I always say this to my students, just make sure you're just having fun. You get all the time in the world, really. So have a play. Once you kind of get confident with it, just have a play with it. And I promise you, you'll learn a lot more in the long run if you have a play. If you're kind of rushing to do it, or you, and most importantly, if you feel that you're not enjoying it, then you're on the wrong path. You really got to kind of, you know, have some fun. You can't have enough fun in this life. Okay. Let's build up a little bit. So I'm just working on the knuckles here. I might just extend these fingers out, I'll see. We shall see. Might put some fingernails in there, we'll see. Now something I've not done, where are we? Is it lock position? I'm not entirely sure. I've done something. It's not flattening properly. It's not that. It's not that. you know what, I'm not going to do too much here. I'm just going to do a bit more on the knuckles. Ooh, take the intensity down, that's quite high for some reason. Okay, and then we've got the inside of the hand as well. And again, you can put a lot more detail in there. I'm just going to smooth that off a little bit there. Okay, and do things like build the palm up. So you got the thumb there, and of course you got. If you look at your own hand, you can see there the palm. Will be coming up. Anyway, oops. I'm just loathed to put too much detail in there, and I'd much rather just kind of get through to the bits that you need, so you can then get on and do your own models. Okay, and let's have a look at the leg. On the kneecap. So look at these calves. Let's build up these calves. And let's look at these feet. Again, you might want to, I don't know what's going on with this flatten brush. There's something weird going on with the flattening brush, and I don't know what it is. Very strange. No. Don't know what to tell you. Anyway, I'm going to maybe use the smooth tool. Just smooth those bad boys out. Might use the move tool. Smooth tool, and again, you know, I just want to kind of get it really basic, just so you've kind of got the ins and outs. Now, clearly, I could spend a ton more time on this. I know you will, but for the purpose of this video, I want to take it probably around about to here. I don't want to take it really any further. And I want to get you to the next stage, which is getting it into Mudbox, getting into painting it, and then getting into rigging it, which is the main point of these videos. Okay. Alright, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to resist temptation. I'm going to leave it there. Yeah, we've got our... So it's pretty amazing though, isn't it? We've gone from just having very basic geometric shapes stuck together, remeshing it, and then putting it into a program like this, and being able to sculpt to into it like this. That's pretty, you know, it's not bad going. Alright, let's leave it there, and the next stage is we're going to put it into Mudbox, and we're going to re-topologize. Okay, so now we're in Mudbox and we're ready now to import our model. So I'm going to go to Open, well actually first we need to save it, so let's go back to Sculpt GL. So I'm going to go to Save OBJ, save the file. It'll save it automatically in there.